Exploring the moon. We sing songs about it, we read stories about it. Today, let's learn a little about the moon.
First, why are we able to see the moon? As you can see from this model, the moon orbits around the Earth.
It takes almost a full month for the moon to make a complete circle around the Earth.
The moon itself does not light up. We can see the moon because it reflects light from our sun.
The part of the moon that reflects sunlight changes as the moon circles around the Earth.
That is why the moon's appearance changes throughout the month it is traveling around the Earth.
We call this changing appearance the phases of the moon.
If we stop the action for a moment, you might recognize some of the moon's phases. You might have noticed the moon looking like this when you see the night sky.
The first phase of the moon is when you can hardly see any of it at all. This is called the new moon.
The new moon happens when the moon is between the Earth and the sun at just the right angle so that hardly any of the sun can reflect off the surface of the moon.
The next phase of the moon is called waxing crescent. Waxing means the crescent appears to be getting bigger.
You can see the curved, white crescent shape on the right-hand side of the moon that is facing the sun. The first quarter phase of the moon is when you can see half of the part of the moon that faces us.
Half of a half moon is a quarter moon.
As time passes, the moon looks like it's growing in the sky. It is actually still the same size. It is just the amount of the moon lit up by the sun that gets larger.
The phase that is between a quarter and a half moon is called a gibbous moon. During the part of the month when the moon appears to be growing or waxing, we call this moon phase a waxing gibbous moon.
About halfway through the moon's orbit around the Earth, we see the largest amount of it reflecting the sun. This is what we call the full moon.
Since it takes a little less than a month for the moon to orbit around the Earth, sometimes it works out so we can actually see 2 full moons in 1 month or in 1 season. Depending on your source, the second full moon in either a month or in a season is called a blue moon. The moon is the same color as always. Blue moon is just a name which has come to mean a rare event.
As the moon works its way around the Earth, the surface we can see begins to look smaller to us.
We call this waning. So the next phase after the full moon is the waning gibbous, followed by the last quarter and the waning crescent.
And if on a clear night you don't see the moon in the sky at all, you know it's starting back around its earthly orbit.
It has again become a new moon.
From a distance, the moon looks like it's a smooth round ball in space.
But close up, you can see from these models that it has mountains, valleys, and craters.
Some craters on the moon are up to 1,000 kilometers long.
A cold day here in Wisconsin can be 20 degrees Fahrenheit.
We have to stay inside for recess when it gets down to 0 degrees Fahrenheit. But that's nothing compared to how cold it gets on the part of the moon that is facing away from the sun.
The temperature on the dark side of the moon can get down to 256 degrees below zero.
The moon is about 223,500 miles from the Earth.
The moon is about 93 million miles from the sun.
Human beings have always been curious about the moon.
The United States National Aeronautic and Space Administration, or NASA, trained people, and developed the equipment to send astronauts into space. Among the many exploratory missions in space, there were 17 Apollo missions to the moon. Apollo 11 carried the first astronauts to walk on the moon.
They were Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin.
You don't have to be an astronaut to be a moon gazer.
Anyone can take a few moments to notice the beauty of the changing moon.
Just look up.